Going live. Here we are.
Going live, here we are. Except we're not yet. Now we are. And you never know, does it like pick up right where we are, or does it go back
I
to like
still am not
where we
sure.
I think it goes back. I think it goes all the way back to the beginning. Hello. So happy to be joining you here today. We're just clueless when it comes to this whole YouTube stream thing. You would think we would figure it out. Oh goodness, I'm Pam Barnhill, and I am so happy that you are joining us here this afternoon. I have a website at pambarnhill.com. I am a little bit techie, and a couple of homeschooling podcasts. One is the Your Morning Basket podcast, which is all about doing the practice of morning time in your home, and the other one is 10 Minutes to a Better Homeschool, which you can find on my YouTube channel, which is right here, unless you're listening as a podcast, in which you can find them in a podcast player. And I'm joined by my good friend, Mystie Winkler. Hey, Mystie.
Hey, yes, I am Mystie Winkler, and I write and podcast at simplyconvivial.com. I have the Simply Convivial podcast, which is a 10-minute or less bit of encouragement for homemaking and homeschooling and doing life cheerfully. And then also the Simplified Organization podcast, which is really short interviews with other moms about, what's working for them right now in homemaking and doing life cheerfully. So
I love it. I love it. And we have kids. We have children.
Oh, we do. We do.
Yeah, we're both homeschooling mom with, goodness, lots of children between us. So we can talk about that too. Oh, goodness. Well, speaking of children, how has your homeschool week been?
Well, one thing is that it's snowing right now in my town. And so
I'm sorry.
that puts a little bit of a damper on it. Like takes us right back to, shouldn't we be on like Christmas break now or something? That's what it looks like out my window.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But so today I relearned how to factor coefficients. So that was fun. I'm not even sure that I learned how to do that when my older two boys went through this. But my daughter brought me her math page and was like, I don't know how to factor these. And I'm like, it probably has something to do with this number here. I don't even know how to factor like at all.
I don't even remember what that is. I'm so ashamed to say, because usually I at least know what something is, even if I don't know how to do it.
Well, I only remember the name because we just Googled it and we watched a video from Khan Academy on this. And so,
love Khan Academy.
Yes. So the right words were on the math sheet, and I typed those words into Google and brought up the Khan Academy page. And so that's how we handled it. We watched the video together. And yeah, it's where you have, X's that are, all kinds of things are going on with X's, and you got to break them out into parentheses. And
Okay.
I don't even,
all right.
I'm glad she didn't ask me why she needed to know it, but just how to do it, because
That's awesome. Yeah, it's been a hot minute since I've done that. So,
yeah.
oh wow. Yeah. I think the math tutor's been doing it with my kids. At least I hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
So, other than snow and factoring coefficients, how else has your week gone?
Well, another one of my math students has decided that math is not important, and
Oh,
that he has gone far enough. He's like, he's good. And he's 12. So my current,
he's like Jethro Bodine from the from the Beverly Hillbillies. It's like I got my gazintas and I'm good, like sixth grade education.
so I just
I
wanted
love
to
it.
put this pro tip out there because this is my third 12-year-old boy. And even my daughter said, oh, I remember when I had to do that. He was grumbling at his math page, and I said, get up, go over there, 10 jumping jacks.
Mm.
And then went back And I was like, I still don't think I should have to do this. It's like, and 10 more jumping jacks.
Now we're going to learn.
Yep. I'm better at supervising or checking on jumping jacks rather than push-ups. I think push-ups is another standard. I like jumping jacks because I think it's a little aerobic activity. It gets the blood to the brain. So it's actually like, it's a good consequence. And it's also one that's actually going to help them. And I remind them of that. They never believe me, but it doesn't matter because it's true. And it gives them an opportunity to try contradicting your mother, because it's going to get you 10 more.
10 more. That's right. They just build on each other. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So much so. I love it. Love it. I've ours used to be go out and give me a lap around the house.
Yes. Yes, we've done laps too, but a lap in the snow, that just seemed a little bit too. That wasn't going to work today.
Yeah, I could see that. So, well, good. I'm glad. Pro tip there, man. You just never know what you can walk away with from this podcast, and so there you have it. A few jumping jacks, lap around the house, maybe some push-ups.
It has served me well, because all of my kids have gone like it. It's regardless of child. This is what this is.
Everybody's had to do it.
Everybody's had to do it. So
that's funny. That's funny.
Not unique.
Yeah. Well, our week is going well. Actually, really well. We've had a good week. We're really so I've totally given up on the checklist. That's like. So today we finished morning time, and I'm like, okay, you need to do this, this, and this, and you need to do this, this, and this, and you need to do this, this, and this. And they really know what they need to do. Like, even if I didn't tell them, they would know exactly what it is they need to do. And I probably should make some checklists before I travel next week, because if not, nothing will get done. But yeah, that's where we are in our school year. But it's working. The things are getting done, and everybody's fairly happy, and it's good. We're finishing it up. And I would say probably our biggest win lately is that the boys have gotten much more independent with their writing. So we do IEW for writing. We're doing a theme-based program this year, so there are no videos or anything. I just kind of sit and go over. I mean, we did the Structure and Style for Students level A1 with Andrew last year, watching the videos and things like that. And so they know the different structures. Now, this particular book has thrown in like sentence openers and different things that we didn't get to in the level 1 last year. So we are learning some new things, but they know the structure of everything, and they know a lot of the stylistic dress ups and techniques. And they're starting to be able to add some of those in, especially the older one, add some of those in by himself without as much prodding from me. And so I had totally forgot. Actually, he forgot too. So last week he brought me his rough draft, and neither one of us remembered that he had actually sat down to work on the checklist by himself. And I was reading through it, and I'm like, wow, this is really good. You did a good job. Now, it wasn't particularly long. It never is, right? But just, given this kid's background and struggles with writing and things like that, I was like, I'm really, really impressed. So he's learning, it's sticking. And the little brother's doing a pretty good job too. So, yes. Yeah, feeling pretty good.
It's really just the practice, repeating, revising, learning how to add in the dress ups in different styles and do things, and just practicing those over and over. I don't think that length is super important. It's just practicing, putting some sentences together in different ways and practicing those techniques.
Yep. Well, if length is not important, then we're good. Because they sound really good, but they're short. So I was looking at the little one today, and I was thinking, we've got all of these different kinds of sentence openers, and you barely have that many sentences. And then of course you have to have like your A-B clause and all of this stuff. I'm like, we might have to add a few more sentences just to get all these sentence openers in, which is a good thing, because then that means I have to look at them and say, what else can you remember from this passage that we can put in just to lengthen it? Or is there something else you want to say about this so we can add another couple of sentences? So we're going to see how that goes.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Cool.
So, yep. All right. So we are talking today about finishing the year that you're doing versus planning next year, because we have all reached the point in our school year where we would much rather plan next year. So much more fun than actually finish the year that we're working on right now. And so I mentioned this topic to Misty and she was all over it. So Misty, what do you have to say about this particular topic?
Oh, well, I totally relate to just wanting to plan the next year. When you want to, like, everything about the current year, it feels like you're at the dregs of the year. Like, okay, the excitement's gone. We're near the end. Can we just be done now? You start rattling off all the things that aren't working about this with this plan.
Would I be setting a bad example if we just stop for the rest of the year? Nobody would know, right?
Yeah. And then, but planning is a fresh start. And planning is thinking about how the next year is going to be so much better. And so there's just a natural... Planning is perfect. Planning is fun. Planning is what it looks like on paper when you're imagining it, and it's not, no one's messing it up yet. No one's doing it wrong or having bad attitudes about it. Future mom, future mom, future kids always think this is the best plan ever.
Everybody thinks it's just as much fun as you think it is. And
so it's so easy to go into planning mode instead of finishing strong mode. And a couple years ago, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I figured out a way to harness my desire to plan in order to help me finish the year strong. And I actually totally forgot about this. I didn't do it this year. And when you said something, I'm like, oh, that's right. I used to do this. And that is, I would always have ideas for how next year's going to be better and what we're going to do differently. And some of those insights I think are really good. And it's a good idea to write them down and start planning them now, because you're getting those ideas based off of your actual reality right now. Like they're tweaks or changes based on what is or isn't working right now. And so that's a better basis for planning than in the summer when everything feels a bit like a blank slate. Yeah. And so I would start writing about some of those ideas, just taking notes or pulling out books. And often it had to do with morning time and things to change up in morning time. And I would actually use the last 6 weeks or so of our school year to start testing out some of those ideas.
I love that.
Yeah. So it was finishing strong and continuing, but doing a few new ideas or, a new morning time routine or adding or taking something away as a test, as an experiment. Instead of, it's easy to fall into that all or nothing. It's going to be an all fresh, brand new school year in the fall, or we're just going to keep plodding along. And so it helped me get realistic about some of those plans because, can I actually implement this next week? No. So what makes me think I'm going to be able to implement it next year?
That's such a great point. I mean, that really, really is such a great point. But it's just enough new. And it's, you tell your kids like, okay, so we're going to try this out to see if this is something we want to do for next year. So it's just new and exciting enough that it kind of gives you the little spark you need to finish up. But you're not committing to it long term, right? So it doesn't become one of mom's big failures. Am I the only mom who has like mom's big failures? Like
For
I have one
sure.
kid who calls me out on it. He's like, no, you always come up with these great ideas and we do it for like a week and a half and then we just stop doing it. I can't be the only one, right?
No, not the only one.
Yeah. So then it doesn't become one of mom's big failures. It's just something you're testing out, right? So I love that. But I do want to touch on something that you said. You said, I'm always looking for things that I can do better and things that I do differently. And I think that's totally one of the things that we need. We need to look at, in the heat of the moment, what are the things that are really bothering me right now? What are the things that do need to be tweaked? But I think we've also got to recognize the things that are working really well that we just like don't mess with it. Right. And so maybe taking your piece of paper and dividing it into 3 columns and like, this is going great. Don't screw it up. This needs a little bit of tweaking, and then this one needs a complete overhaul. Maybe that's where we start, right?
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good point. Not to mess with what is working, because sometimes that's a part of the new plan is just scrapping everything and building something brand new. But that's not going to work as well as just incrementally adjusting what you've got going.
And I think, and I've done this too, it's just, things just don't seem, I don't know, they just don't feel as fresh. And so we kind of get I call them the bright shinies. We get the bright shinies, like something over there is bright and shiny, and we're like, ooh, let's try that. But really what was really working well for you. It's really working well for your kids. And so if it's not broke, don't try to fix it, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, very much so. All right. Anything else you want to say about finishing strong versus planning for next year? I will say, and I'm just going to throw out a plug there, we have the Put Your Homeschool Year on Autopilot course. It is open for the early planners. The course is available, and we have a great new thing called the Finishers Club this year. Actually, we've had kind of iterations of this the past couple of years. You're so proud of me, Misty. I've been iterating. But this year, we're going full on. People love it and they ask for more. And so the first year of the Finishers Club is included with your Plan Your Year purchase. And every week from May 21st through August 22nd, there is a co-working and planning session with one of our homeschool mentors. So you can come for an hour and a half to 2 hours, work on your homeschool plan, get your questions answered, and we're even going to have an all-day planning day on July 23rd, and it's all included with your autopilot purchase. So that's pambarnhill.com/autopilot if you're thinking about planning for next month. Yeah.
Yes, and that's always where I begin with my school planning, even though I've done it year after year. Like sometimes every time really, you don't need to rethink the process. I'm like, wait, where do I start? What do I do?
Right.
So I just pull up Plan Your Year. I'm like, okay, that's right. And it's again, not starting fresh, but like, okay, start, vision. What did I write last year? Oh yeah. All right. That's pretty good.
Well, and that's the great thing with the Plan Your Year forms that come along with the autopilot program is you can type into them and save them on your computer. And so I have a folder on my computer for every year. Here's the 2021 plan, and here's the 2020 plan, and here's the 2019 plan. And so I'm able to just open those up and then make adjustments as I need to. I don't have to reinvent the wheel or start from scratch. And a lot of times people will say to me, well, how long does it take you to create a homeschool plan? And back the first couple years I did it, as I was refining the process, it probably did take me 20 or 25 hours. But now, I can do the whole year, and that's everything to include no planning throughout the rest of the year in 8 hours or less. So, spread that over the summer in a couple of 2-hour chunks and you got it. Yeah. Yep. So
awesome. So everyone, if you need planning tips, Pam's your go-to person.
Thank you. And if you need homemaking tips, Misty's your go-to person. Because you don't want to see my floor right now. Actually, it doesn't look that bad. We cleaned it Friday.
Pam for the homeschool plan, and then you still need to feed people, then head on over.
There you go.
People still need to eat.
All right. Well, we will be back again next week on Easter Monday. So we will see you then. And So, Mystie, have a good week.
You too. Talk to you later.
Bye.